Good evening. This is All India Radio and I'm Saira Mujtaba with the news at 9. The headlines. Campaigning for assembly elections in Maharashtra and Haryana ends. Polling on Monday. Bypolls to 2 Lok Sabha constituencies and 51 assembly seats in 17 states also to be held on the same day. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman calls for concerted global action to deal with economic slowdown at IMF. British MPs vote to delay Brexit approval in setback to Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And Rohit Sharma's turn propels India to 224 for 3 on the opening day of third and final cricket test against South Africa at Ranchi. Now news related to elections.
Maharashtra and Haryana Assembly Elections 2019.
Campaigning for assembly elections in Maharashtra and Haryana ended this evening. Voting for 288-member Maharashtra Assembly and 90-member Haryana Assembly will take place on Monday. Bypolls to 2 Lok Sabha constituencies and 51 assembly seats in 17 states will also be held on the same day. The 2 Lok Sabha seats where bypolls will be held are Samastipur in Bihar and Satara constituency in Maharashtra. Elaborate security arrangements have been made to ensure free, fair and peaceful polls. In Maharashtra, the main contest is between BJP Shiva Sena Alliance and Congress NCP combined. MNS, BSP, CPIM and CPI are among other parties contesting. A total of 3,237 candidates are in the fray. The hectic campaigning saw bigwigs of all political parties crisscrossing the state, making their last-ditch efforts to woo the voters. Polling will be held in 96,661 polling booths across the state, and it will be for the first time that voter verifiable paper audit trail or VVPAT will be used for elections in Maharashtra. Our correspondent from Mumbai has more details on the poll preparations.
The entire election machinery is all set for the voting on October 21 in Maharashtra. As many as 352 exclusive polling booths have been set up in the state and they will be managed exclusively by women. In such polling booths, all election staff, including police and security personnel, will be women. In every assembly constituency, at least one or at the most 3 such polling stations will be set up. The ECI has directed that the women on election duty must refrain from using any color of any political party in any way. Wheelchairs and ramps are being provided for Divyang and elderly voters at polling stations. Arrangement of separate queues have been made for Divyang and senior citizens. For the convenience of visually impaired voters, information leaflets and voter lists at polling booths have also been prepared in Braille. Over 3 lakh security personnel of state and central police forces will be deployed in the state. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Haryana, the main contest is between the BJP and the Congress. Other parties fighting in the polls are INLD, Aam Aadmi Party, Swaraj India Party, JJP, BSP and LJP. A total of 1,169 candidates are in the fray. Of them, 1,064 are male and 105 female candidates. The number of voters between 18 and 19 years of age has increased from 3 lakh to 3.82 lakhs after the recently held Lok Sabha elections. Security has been strengthened across the state and interstate borders. Our correspondent reports that 19,578 polling booths have been set up.
Various political parties and candidates have now started formulating the strategy of booth management. Departure of polling parties will start tomorrow morning. The Election Commission is continuously monitoring for adherence to the Model Code of Conduct. There are around 3,000 vulnerable and 100 critical polling booths have been identified by the Election Commission, and central paramilitary forces and micro-observers will be deployed there. Election Commission has made proper arrangements to make it ensure that maximum number of franchise can use their voting rights with ease and confidence. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Karnal.
Assembly constituencies for which bypolls will be held are 11 seats of Uttar Pradesh, 6 in Gujarat, 5 seats each in Kerala and Bihar, 3 in Sikkim, 4 each of Punjab and Assam, 2 each of Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan and Himachal Pradesh, and 1 seat each in Odisha, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Meghalaya, Puducherry and Arunachal Pradesh. Counting for all seats will be held on the 24th of this month. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has called for concerted global action to mitigate the disruption due to synchronous slowdown and invoke the spirit of multilateralism for global growth. She said the increased trade integration, geopolitical uncertainties and high accumulated debt levels necessitate strong global coordination without waiting for the slowdown to become a crisis. She referred to it during her intervention at the working lunch session of the Development Committee, the ministerial level committee of the International Monetary Fund or IMF and the World Bank. The finance minister is currently on an official tour to Washington DC to attend the annual meetings of the IMF and the World Bank and other associated meetings. Ms. Sitharaman also mentioned that trade wars and protectionism have generated uncertainties that will ultimately impact flow of capital, goods and services. Ms. Sitharaman also led the Indian delegation to the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting earlier today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today interacted with the members of the creative and entertainment world in New Delhi on ways to mark the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Mr. Modi said Mahatma Gandhi is synonymous with simplicity and his thoughts reverberate far and wide. He said the power of creativity is immense and it is essential to harness the spirit of creativity for the nation. He said several people from the world of films and television have been doing great work when it comes to popularizing the ideals of Mahatma Gandhi. During the interaction, the Prime Minister appeals to the members of the film industry to visit the museum established in Dandi in honor of Mahatma Gandhi. He also requested them to visit the Statue of Unity as it is drawing numerous visitors from all over the country and the world. Noted film personalities Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan and Kangana Ranaut were among those present on the occasion. A multimedia exhibition as part of the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi was organized in the India Pavilion at the Frankfurt International Book Fair. The life and philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi was celebrated by performing Dandi Yatra today. Participants in a huge number took part in the Yatra, which was made vibrant by young students and their enthusiasm. Speaking at the event, the Consul General of India in Frankfurt, Pratibha Parkar, said the whole world is celebrating the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi to re-emphasize his message of truth and non-violence. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting participates in Frankfurt Book Fair every year, but this is the first time that a multimedia exhibition has been organized. The 5-day fair will conclude tomorrow. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, visit our News on AIR app and follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. You can also visit our website www.newsonair.com. British MPs today voted to delay a decision on Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Brexit deal, arguing they needed more time to study its contents before an October 31 deadline. Lawmakers backed an amendment which effectively forces the government to request an extension until January next year, while they scrutinise the proposed domestic legislation to enforce the deal with European Union. Meanwhile, Mr. Johnson has vowed to stick to an October 31 Brexit deadline, despite MPs winning more time to study a divorce deal he struck with Brussels. Earlier, at a rare weekend sitting of Parliament, Mr. Johnson implored legislators in the House of Commons to ratify the deal he struck this week with the other 27 EU leaders. He said members of the House of Commons should come together as Democrats to end this debilitating feud that has racked the country for more than 3 years. President Ramnath Kovind today interacted with the parents of the infants in the Philippines who successfully underwent a liver transplant in India. The President expressed happiness about India's engagement with the key Southeast Asian country that has brought people's causes within its expanding ambit. In the last 28 months, 35 babies from the Philippines have undergone successful liver transplant in India as part of the Philippines-India Pediatric Liver Transplant Program. The President said that the Indian medical institutions are working with their counterparts in the Philippines to see how the success rate increases as well as the costs of similar transplants in the Philippines could be brought down.
India's engagement in this country has brought people's causes and life-giving projects within its expanding ambit, be it facilitating liver transplant for Filipino babies or providing prosthetic foot to the needy. President Duterte himself mentioned to me his happiness at this ongoing health cooperation.
President Kovind reached Manila on Thursday as part of his 5-day state visit to the Philippines and Japan. In Russia, 15 people were killed and another 13 are missing after an illegally built dam collapsed at a gold mine in a remote Siberian settlement today. Russian authorities said the dam on the Seba River in the Siberian region of Krasnoyarsk burst and flooded several cabins where the victims lived. Muddy flood waters hit the cabins near the village of Shetinkino this morning as the workers were resting. The Emergencies Ministry said about 300 people, 6 helicopters and 6 boats were involved in a search and rescue mission. But the operation was challenging because of the remote location. Officials said the dam had apparently been built in breach of safety rules and claimed that the authorities were not aware of its existence. Chile's President Sebastián Piñera has declared a state of emergency in Santiago and gave the military responsibility for security after a day of violent protests over an increase in the price of metro tickets. Protesters clashed with riot police throughout yesterday in several parts of the capital, Santiago, and the subway system was shut down after attacks on stations in some of the worst violence the city has seen in years. Back home, the DNA Technology Regulation Bill that seeks to control the use of DNA technology for establishing the identity of a person has been referred to a Parliamentary Standing Committee for examination. The bill has been referred to the Standing Committee on Science and Technology, Environment and Forest by Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu. The bill seeks to control the use and application of the DNA technology for establishing the identity of certain categories of persons, including offenders, victims, suspects and under trials. It was passed by the Lok Sabha in July this year. The Enforcement Directorate conducted raids at Diwan Housing Finance Limited or DHFL premises today in connection with a loan that reached D Company in Dubai. The raids were carried out in Mumbai and other places. 14 premises of DHFL were raided by the agency in connection with its alleged link with Dawood Ibrahim's aide Iqbal Mirchi. The non-banking financial corporation had come under the ED scanner after investigations revealed that a loan of 2,186 crore rupees extended by DHFL to Sunblink Real Estate Private Limited had reached D Company in Dubai. In cricket, electing to bat first, India were 224 for 3 before bad light and rain forced early end on day 1 of the third and final test against South Africa at Ranchi today. Rohit Sharma with 117 and Ajinkya Rahane with 83, both unbeaten, were at the crease when stumps were drawn. This was Rohit Sharma's third century in the ongoing series. Mayank Agarwal and Virat Kohli were out cheaply while Cheteshwar Pujara was out without score. India won the toss and decided to bat. For South Africa, K. Rabada claimed 2 wickets and A. Nortje won. India lead the 3-match test series 2-0. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Campaigning for assembly elections in Maharashtra and Haryana ends. Polling on Monday. Bypolls to 2 Lok Sabha constituencies and 51 assembly seats in 17 states also to be held on the same day. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman calls for concerted global action to deal with economic slowdown at IMF. British MPs vote to delay Brexit approval in setback to Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And Rohit Sharma's turn propels India to 224 for 3 on the opening day of third and final cricket test against South Africa at Ranchi. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. That's all in the news at 9. Good night.